Let's make our little person here interact with the background. First thing that we'll go after is that look where the camera person is fixated on a runner and keeps them right at the same place in the camera and the buildings go by. So that means we just need to move our buildings. And we'll try here. It's probably going to be way too fast, but that's how we learn, by experimenting. So we'll put in our classic tween here, and then we'll just move this all the way over so that 7 is in front. Okay, in case that wasn't clear, that's the first keyframe. That's the last keyframe. And let's go ahead and preview this. And I'm pretty sure that even with this jerky motion happening, he's going to look like he's running unrealistically. Well, actually, it's okay. You could, of course, slow our runner down by lengthening this, or make him faster by shortening the scene. Now let's go for that look where the cameraman is following the person, but the person gets a little bit ahead of the camera person. So what would that look like? Well, basically what would happen is we'd have to animate our runner moving forward. So this is our runner here. From here we'll do an F6 and we'll bring the runner forward about halfway into the frame and insert our classic tween, and then we'll preview that. And what you'll see is it's still going to have the background moving, but the runner is going to start to get a little bit ahead of the cameraman. So there we go. And then let's just extend these frames out a little bit so that there's something else you can see here. So when the runner comes in, you'll see that it looks kind of what you'd expect, with the runner going a little bit faster than the cameraman's panning. But there, obviously, we have an issue. So what we'd have to do in this case to make that look a little bit more realistic is probably have the person run off stage, because basically what happened is the camera person stopped moving, but obviously the character did not. And depending if we want the runner's speed to change or not, we could either animate from here to here, or we could just simply extend this frame out, move the runner out a little bit. Bottom line is you're just going to do a whole bunch of testing, playing around until you get the right feel. So you may have to speed up the background, you may have to speed up the object that's moving, but eventually you get there. And actually that didn't work so well because my runner got off camera before I could finish. So I'll Command Z back a few steps, and we'll take our runner and just go from here to about here. And put the runner off stage. And instead of previewing that for real, we'll just try it here first. I think that's better. So make sure you save this so that we can put it into our main production file in just a second. But I want to show you something first. Imagine this. Imagine that you wanted to do so much panning and zooming with your runner in your background that it was just going to be like a crazy amount. Like you have your runner running by all these numbers, but you want to be zoomed way in on its foot, and you also want it to look like there's a camera person doing the work. Is there a way that we could do that a lot easier? And I'm going to show you. You don't have to follow along. You may want to. I'm just going to do this in a brand new document. So I'm in a new document, and I just have my background and I have my person. I'm going to select both of them, and zoom way out. And so what we're going to do here is create our entire animation between the character and the background first, and then we'll concern ourselves with panning and zooming. So the reason I'm making this so small is just if you ever find yourself working this way, it's going to be a lot easier to have everything inside of your stage. So we'll go about that big with it. Okay, so I'm just going to make a really simple animation here that takes place over about 5 seconds. So I'm going to do an F6 here with my background, and I'm going to take the person, and of course we'll have them go over the same time frame. Work this way, forgetting about the panning and zooming. What you want to think about is, what would this look like in real life if I was standing back really far? And so let's say our person starts running from here, and we could have them run all the way across at the same speed, but just for something different, let's have them run approximately the same speed from here to here. So I'll put in an F6, and we'll say during that time frame they make it all the way over to, I keep grabbing that centerpiece, I may have to zoom in a little bit here to pull this off. Yeah, let me do just that and I'll be back. So what I did was I started a person out all the way over on the left here, got him to about 5.5 here, and then in this short period of time they're going to run all the way from 5.5 to the end. In fact, let's even shorten the period down. So basically what I'm going for is it looks like a sprint at the end. But what I'm trying to get across is this could be a whole bunch of layers, a whole bunch of stuff happening. There could be an airplane flying in here, a car driving down here. And the idea would be we get our animation going what we want, whatever has to be animated is animated, whatever's sitting still, like the background in this case, sits still. We'll preview that, and we can see there's our little person running across. Now, the idea would be to take that entire animation, turn that into a symbol, and then do our panning and zooming. And since I've done that many times, I'll do it behind camera. I just pasted my frames inside of the symbol, and now back out on the main timeline. We're going to get rid of these layers and just bring out a new layer. Actually, I just deleted the one layer, rename this PZ for pan and zoom. Going to go into my library, bring out this entire thing. I'm going to Command Z that down, and then I'm going to blow this up. And I'm going to go really big this first time, kind of playing with the viewer's perception, if you will. I'm going to go even bigger so you don't even know what you're looking at first. Okay, so if we just play our animation, that's what we saw, that just bleeping by real quick. But now let's go out to the main timeline, and I'm just going to pause the recording and I'll show you what I came up with. So this looks pretty bizarre. I'll just play it through one time so you can see it here. So at the beginning we're up so close we don't even know what's going on. Then we get to see the runner in the middle for a little while, and then it goes by pretty bizarrely fast again. So all I did here was just made new F6s along the way. Let me just Command minus out so you can see the stage. So we started out in so close that no one would have a clue as to what that is. And then eventually we zoom out enough that we can see our runner. And then we zoom kind of way out so that we get to see the runner interact for a while, and that's where everyone kind of figures out what's going on. But then because the runner sped up so fast and the camera gets out in front of the runner, we have to wait for the runner to catch up, and then before we know it, it's over. So bottom line, just another possibility another way to work. You don't have to do your whole entire animation that way, but there might be a part of it where that makes sense. Okay, so I don't need this file anymore, so I'm just going to get rid of it. We're going to go back to the other one, and we're going to copy the frames, which I'm not going to show, and then I'll catch up with you pasting it into our master file. All right, so here's my two new layers that I brought in, and I'm going to put them in this folder here. If I could click on it, worry about that later. And then we're just going to go out to the end here and deal with our text. We have our text in here, and then all we need to do now is put our fade in. There is our fade, and we are now ready for the next topic.